For kids encountering them in toy stores, the Mego 12-inch Star Trek figures were a curiosity. The Mego format was appealing, like your superhero action figures, but one wondered about the universe these Star Trek figures came from. Was it anything like the world of Star Wars? Did these figures come with blasters? Did they have battles? And who were the bad guys? Star Trek the Motion Picture was first broadcast on network television in 1983, and it was the way many kids first happened upon Star Trek. This movie was an unusual viewing experience for a child. Not much happens, and there didn't seem to be any villains, but there was an unnamed alien threat that the Enterprise crew seemed to be contending with that electrocutes Spock and takes over the body of the Alia character. The movie had a seriousness to it that was captivating to me even as a kid. But apart from that, it was a very slow-moving watching experience. I have a couple of these Star Trek Mego figures that we can take a look at. They aren't sealed, so we can take a closer look at the figures themselves. These figures have a real quality to them. The likeness to William Shatner is pretty accurate. And the uniform has some nice touches too, like the insignia and the belt buckle and the foil cufflinks. If Star Trek the Motion Picture was a slow movie, how playable could the figures be? Unfortunately for Mego, the answer was not very. Upon seeing them in the toy store, I do remember feeling a faint desire to get these figures because I like the Mego format, but I did not fully understand the appeal of the Star Trek universe at the time, and when faced with a choice, I would always go with the more action-oriented Star Wars or superhero toys. But these figures are an interesting footnote in toy history. They represent an attempt to catch up to Kenner's success with Star Wars. Thus, Mego was looking for a science fiction property to license, and they also made 3 3/4 figures for their Star Trek line. But the Star Trek universe as portrayed in the movie simply did not offer the same excitement and draw for kids as Star Wars, and the line was not a success for Mego. Only the random single Star Trek figure could occasionally be found amongst kids' other action figures in the 80s. 12-inch figures were a format that would soon be phased out after Mego went out of business in 1983, and the quality of these figures would not be matched until decades later when toy companies began making large-size action figures again in the mid to late 90s. Having grown into being Star Trek fans and fondly remembering these toys in stores, collectors now see them as desirable and collectible objects that made up part of the toy background of their childhood. Like Star Trek the Motion Picture itself, the toys had real merit that was not immediately recognized, but that grew on you over time. If you like this video, check out my other vintage toy videos and like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.